Greetings, Commanders. This is Commander Meccan, and this is my review of the so-called Azimuth new anti-Xeno Multicannons. In this review, we'll start by talking about the statistics of the new weapons. We'll talk about where to buy them. We'll see how they compare with their non-pre-engineered counterparts, and then we'll have a brief in-action showcase. The Azimuth Multicannons are essentially a pre-engineered version of the enhanced anti-Xeno Multicannons. They only come in the gimbal version, which is fine, as that is by far the best version to begin with. The pre-engineered modification they have is overcharged, noting it also has the autoloader experimental. The autoloader experimental effectively increases the firing time from about 81% to about 91%. We'll see in a moment what that means in practice in terms of damage. The downside of this engineering is its higher power draw, plus 75%, but most notably, and again we'll see in a moment what that entails, its massively increased thermal load, which is quadrupled of 1.1 per shot. You can buy this new module at the technology broker that is present on Rescue Megaships. Rescue Megaships in turn show up on your galaxy map if you filter based on the target war with this green symbol with a cross. These weapons are very expensive in terms of materials, especially when compared to the fact that the normal version of these weapons does not require materials at all. It can be bought just for credits. The medium version of this weapon requires a good amount of Thargoid materials, biomechanical conduits, wreckage components, and weapon parts, in addition to the far more common iron and zirconium. The larger version of this weapon requires an even greater number of Thargoid materials, in addition to iron and zirconium, and further adds a requirement for ship systems data, which is obtained by scanning Thargoid ships with an enhanced or traditional Xeno scanner. The greatest appeal of these weapons is that on paper they do quite a bit more damage than their unengineered counterparts. Precisely 24% more damage if you include both the autoloader effect and the additional 10% net damage of the overcharge modification. As this chart shows, the large variant is also significantly more effective than the medium variant, both in its traditional and its pre-engineered version, as one large hardpoint is roughly equivalent to 3.3 of the medium ones. These are weapons you really want to use in their large incarnation. The catch, and yes, there is a catch, is the massively increased thermal load of these weapons. Even by dropping one of the medium multi-cannons that goes with typical Maelstrom builds, and constantly operating just with 3 large multi-cannons, the comparisons is not quite friendly. It results in more than twice the thermal load with this new setup versus the previous one. Considering the fact that in anti-Xeno combat we want to try our best to remain cold, this is a problem. In order to deal with that problem, pretty much the only thing that you can realistically do is to add cooling. The way you add cooling on a sustained basis is you add additional thermal vent beams. So the comparison really becomes between the traditional or regular Titankiller build, which has proven incredibly effective to date, which uses 3 large and 1 medium of a regular gimbal enhanced anti-Xeno multi-cannons and a single medium gimbal thermal vent beam. In contrast, with these new Azimuth multi-cannons, you're able to build a crate that has 3 of those large weapons, but also requires an additional small gimbal TV beam in addition to the medium one to cool those weapons. The result is effectively a side grade. Yes, you get additional DPS as you get a net increase of 12.7% in your sustained DPS, but at the same time you're forced to fly the ship on 0.24 pips instead of the 0.33 pips of the regular Titankiller build. The result is a ship that is less agile and slower, as the net drop is in about 10% of the speed of the ship beforehand. Whether that's worth it to you is entirely in the eye of the beholder. I will say there's probably situations where the additional DPS comes in handy, but the loss of agility and speed is a headache in many situations as well, which is why I really call these a side grade at this point. So let's take these for a spin. Here you'll see a hyperdiction where my crate is getting pulled out of hyperspace from a couple of glaives, which the ship is uniquely well suited to fight as it has no Guardian modules, and most other builds that do have Guardian modules will quickly succumb to the anti-Guardian field of the glaive themselves. Let's see how it does. As you can see, the Azimuth weapons can make short work of glaives. But what's your experience with these weapons? Let us know in the comments below.